So today I'm going to actually make apple pies. So I have already put the ingredients into my paste for my pastry, and my ingredients are 2 cups of sugar of flour, 1 cup of lard, and 1 teaspoon of salt mixed mix it together with cold water until it's quite crumbly, and then you put it together. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing my pastry. This is a recipe that my grandmother from Ireland gave me, and I have used it since I was probably about 14 years old, and I've never had a pie crust fail. And as long as you use cold ingredients, the pastry is flaky. It's perfect. It's not so flaky that it's not like a crescent roll or something that will fall apart, but it's a nice pastry. And it's easy. Flour, lard, salt, and water. Like, everybody's got that stuff. So you mix the lard up until you have into the flour. Until you got like granules left. So as you can see, that's what I've mixed it up to. Now I'm going to add some water to it. And you never touch your batter or your pastry except to take it out of this bowl. Because the more you handle your pastry, the warmer it gets. And the idea behind the pastry is, from what I understand is how it works, is you put it in the oven at a high temperature to start with, and then the flakes of lard separates at your very high temperature right off the bat. And that's why you usually have like 8 or 10 minutes at 450, then you turn it down to 350 and cook it for 35 to 40 minutes. So that's how this one works. And as you can see, I sort of have to put it together a little bit. It doesn't want to stay together. But once I start rolling it out with the rolling pin, then it sticks together quite well. So you handle it as little as possible. And then you roll it out. Turn it over every so often, otherwise it'll stick to your board. Now I rolled my pastry out quite thin because I don't like a thick pastry on my pies. On any pie, actually. If I have to buy a pie in a store, typically I eat a quarter of the pastry and throw the rest of it out. Okay, I'm going to do a bunch of personal pies, and that's the little ones, because we don't eat a whole pie. Now when you do this way, I just cut the shell quite a bit big, I cut it quite a bit bigger than my actual container. And then you flip it out and you set it in your pie shell. So that's how I do these personal pastries. And I put them in the fridge as soon as I've got it done. And that way it keeps it cold. So I have, I think it's a dozen small personal pastries, apple pies to make. And then I have a couple larger ones to make. So what I typically do is I roll out all my pastries. I do all my shells at first. And then I go ahead and make my filling. So that by the time the pastry, I got the filling done, my oven's heated to 450 and everything's done. So I'll bring you back once I am ready to start doing the filling. Okay, next up on the list is peel the apples. I have an apple peeler here, and I peel the apples. Put the peeled apple in the bowl of water that has lemon juice in it. And unfortunately, I only have one place in the whole house where I can do this, and that is on my stove. So, because everything else has got a uninterrupted finish, it won't seal to, the peeler won't seal to the counter, but it will seal to my stove. So I peel the apples and just take and drop them straight into the water to keep them from browning. And there's my water set up right there. Alright, so once I got the apples peeled, I'll bring you back. So now I'm just dicing up the apples, and I'm cutting them fairly small because with the personal pies, they're only like 4 inches or something across in diameter. So if you put actual apple slices in it, you don't get very much apple in it. And we like the apple. So I'm dicing them or I'm cutting them into smaller chunks. They're probably about 1-inch chunks. And I got them sitting in some lemon water. It's just about 6 cups of water to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And it just keeps them from turning brown until they're ready to go into the pie. So once I've got these diced up, because I have 8 of these containers will fit on my cookie sheet. I hate cleaning my oven, so I try and make sure that stuff doesn't boil over into the bottom of my oven. So this is what I'm just do these pies up. And so this is a really simple recipe. It calls for 7 cups of apples, 1 cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of flour, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon of butter per pie. Okay. So I'm just gonna start putting the stuff in here. No, I'm gonna put it all together first. So I've gone ahead and mixed the sugar, flour, and cinnamon together. And now I'm just going to mix it all through into my apples. Ouch. Alright, now I'm going to dig up all the shells again. And I have 2 cookie sheets, so I can fit 4 personal pies on each cookie sheet. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8 cookie sheets or 8 pie shells going. I have no idea what apples make the best pie apple. I just make pies out of whatever apples I have or whatever apples I currently like. I'm just gonna get 2 more shells here. No, we're gonna skip those 2 shells. Okay, so I have a little bit of filling left over, but I have to make another pie shell for it. Okay, here's 4 of my shells. And there's the other 4. Just have to roll out the tops now for them. Let's see if we can get you set up where you don't fall over on me. There we go. I missed it. There we go. You just pinch the edges together after you place the top on. And then I just cut off the excess pastry. That was the first one ready for the oven. So I'll finish off the other 4. So here's the 8 pies all ready to go into the oven. And as you just heard that dinger, the oven is ready for it. So what I did then is I just add a little bit of, I just painted a bit of water onto the top of the pastry shell. Oh, don't forget to put holes in it or you'll be leaking out the sides of your shells. So I put a little bit of water on the top just to hold the sugar on it. I know some people paint it with egg white and all kinds of other stuff, and I don't really want to. I've never done it. So anyway, the recipe calls to put in the oven for at 350 for, oh, I think it's 55 minutes. Anyway, bring you back when I got them done. So there was the finished apple pies. They're gonna be awesome. My